I'm Percy Chirico's sophomore forward, sports overtime Saturday night starts now.
Well, welcome into a brand new edition of the Appalachian Wireless Sports Overtime Saturday night alongside Lauren Cash. I am Jamie McCracken. Good to be back on the show. I've missed the last 4 shows.
Yeah, I've been taking some time off while the rest of us just working away.
Hey, you know.
Good to have you back anyway. Tonight, former Perry Central Commodore Jay-Sean Page goes off for the West Virginia Mountaineers, plus a ton of local high school and college basketball highlights.
Yeah, we'll also get you set for the 29th WYMT Mountain Classic.
So it's a big show. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Kentucky opening its conference schedule up with Ole Miss tonight, Jamie.
Yeah, but before we get to those highlights, if you have not seen this piece of video, we got to show it to you. This is John Calipari trying to ride a hoverboard, and Brad Calipari, his son, trying to help him out. This is try number 1, by the way.
Looks like he's learning to walk for the first time.
Yeah, he tweeted out and said, old people should not try this. Obviously not. Oh,
we got some movement.
Watch where he ends up. I mean, poor Brad. Just holding it. Now, the next piece of video is a little bit clearer than this. Yeah. Now watch. Here's try number 2. Now this, he's really close. This time when he tweeted, he put this video on and he tweeted, my second try was much better. Again, though, don't try this at home. Don't do it. And watch where he ends up here. His wife's taking this video.
I'm sure she's really enjoying it. Yeah. Has he moved at all?
Oh.
Oh.
All right,
walk it off, Coach Cal. Walk it off.
Let's get to the highlights. Kentucky hosting Ole Miss. There's that boy, Stephon Moody. Big game last season for the Rebels in Rupp Arena. Of course, he's the leading scorer in the SEC. We start, though, with Tyler Ulis because Tyler Ulis did Tyler Ulis things. Hits the J there. We're tied early, and then Ulis with the assist, the lob to Marcus Lee, throws it down. Cats by 2. More from the UK point guard. On the break, gets the bump, and look at that.
Late roll,
and gets the bucket. The free throw puts Kentucky up by 5. Later in the first half, guess who? It's Ulis. Another drive, another bump, another and 1 bucket. Kentucky leading now by 9. Cats started 0 for 6 from downtown, but Jamal Murray makes it 1 for 7. Give Ulis the assist. UK lead out to 12. Murray now running the break, feeds Lee. 13 points, 8 rebounds for Lee. How about another shot from behind the arc? It's Murray. Lead at 19. Cats led by 24 at the break. Much of the same from UK in the second half. Isaiah Briscoe. Nice pass to Alex Poitras. Cats running away with it. We've already seen this connection. Let's do it again. Ulis to who? Lee.
People aren't going to know if that was you or me saying that. Just so we're clear, Jamie got up that high.
Okay. Take another look. Career high 10 assists for Ulis. 1 more from Ulis. The lob to Lee again. The dunk, the foul. Ulis also had 20.6 steals to go along with the assist. Go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. Yes, number 10 Kentucky rolls Ole Miss in the SEC season opener 83-61. Both coaches raving about the point guard after the game.
I think for my money, I watch a lot of basketball, and I don't want to misspeak, but I think he's the best point guard in college basketball is what I think. He has the ability to run that team. It's as if he's skating. We stayed last night, and I looked out, and I saw the ice skating ring, and that's how he kind of plays. He just kind of skates through. And when he's making shots, even though he only went 1 for 6 tonight, obviously, I saw them in the Louisville game in preparation for tonight. And when he makes shots, he's very, very difficult. You just have to gap him, try to stay in front of him as best you can. And we obviously did not do a very good job of that.
As good as he's a good player. He also took on a challenge, because everybody's talking about their guard, and he wants, and I knew he did it. I laughed after the game. I said, I know what you did. And in front of the team, he smiled. But I don't have enough other guys that want to do that. I don't have enough other guys, and I've had them in the past, like a team full of guys like that. We need more guys that look at the other guy and say, I'm going to show who's the better player here. We don't have that right now. We're just kind of playing basketball.
All right, up next for the Kentucky Wildcats is LSU in Baton Rouge.
Yes, the Tigers started as the number 21 team in the country, but have struggled even with the number 1 overall recruit class in last year's class. The number 1 overall recruit, Ben Simmons there. LSU is 8-5 on the season with a win at Vanderbilt tonight. The Pete Maravich Assembly Center, always a tough place to play. It's the Wildcats and the Tigers this Tuesday, January 5th, 9 p.m. tip time on ESPN. Well, coming up later in the show, John Pelfrey made his return to the sidelines tonight. Hear what he has to say about doing the TV thing and if he'll come back as a head coach one day.
Plus, our 7th-ranked girls team in the mountains, the Pulaski County Lady Maroons, host Somerset. We'll have highlights as Pulaski goes for its 4th straight over the set. Welcome back. First time the University of the Cumberland's men's basketball team has played a home game in a month.
And more importantly, this year. The Patriots have not played in a game in Williamsburg since November 28th. They went 4-2 on the road trip, including a win over the number 1 ranked Pikeville
Bears,
thank you. Head coach Johnny Butcher and the Cumberland's Patriots happy to be home taking on Miami Middletown. I'm not lying when I say UC had a good shooting day. Taylor Gover, 3 ball. That's good. 3 of his 10. Pat's up 16. This guy had a decent night on the floor here because Sheaf English swishes the deep 3 ball. He finished perfect from the field, 4 for 4, including 3 3-pointers. Decent. Trey Bootleer leaving the Thunderhawk defense in the dust. Finished with a team-high 21 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Let's go to the scoreboard. Patriots win 123-70 over Miami Middletown. They tie the school record for 3 balls in a single game with 19. Cumberland shot better than 63% from the field, including 52% from 3-point land. Decent.
That's a pretty good day. Pretty good. The 6th-ranked Union men on the road at Milligan in a rematch of the AAC title game from last year. Early in the first, Kurt Brooks. That's a baby J right there. 11 for Brooks in the game. Later, J.D. Tucker passes it off. Brian Jones, he does the rest. 2 of his 9, and then it's my man again. He's the Jason Terry lookalike. Tucker. Goodness. Take another look. Yeah. Little spin. He spins into traffic, but then still makes an off-balance fadeaway. This one back and forth fight. Good bounce pass down low to the Buffs. Jacob Kaywood, he finishes, but number 6 Union wins 61-57. Tucker and Brown each score 13 points. 8 straight wins now since the loss at Cumberland's.
Before that game, it was the women hooping it up. The Buffs look to be running away with it in the second half. Morgan Ghost gets the open 3 in the corner. She cans it. Milligan up 13. The Bulldogs, though, rallied in the 4th quarter. Haley Perkins stops and pops. Swishes home the 3 ball. The Buffs lead down to just 8. More Bulldogs now. Adriana Jefferson backs down the defender. Union down just 6, but Sarah Robinson gets it down low, taking the feed, getting the bucket, and the foul. Let's go to the scoreboard. Despite Lydia Nash's 25 points, Union falls to Milligan 71-62.
Number 17, Bellarmine hosting number 11, LMU. Knights have won 5 straight. Rail Splitters have won 10 straight. First half, Rusty Troutman, nothing rusty about this. Just steps back, knocks it down. Bellarmine down 1. And then Michael Parrish with the drive. The nice feed for Yasa and Colo. Knights up by 2. Later in the half, Knights work the ball around. They'll find Troutman in the paint for a couple more. Bellarmine up by 4. LMU with an answer, though. Jarrell Simmons, this guy's, he's pretty good. Drives, and that's easy.
Right around the big man.
That was easy, though. Okay. More from Simmons, this time the 3 ball from the wing. That was easy, too. Nobody's guarding this guy.
Nobody's guarding him.
You might want to guard him, maybe. All right, time winding down. This guy's like the shortest guy on the court right here. Parrish with the deep 3 ball from the wing. I think he's about 5'2". Knights still up 4, but LMU would take the lead.
So your height, right?
Hey, that's Jalen Steele. That's not nice. But Troutman was feeling it on Saturday. Steps back, connects, another 3 ball goes. Knights with a 2-point lead. The Knights on the break here. Al Davis with the kick. And George Suggs with the bucket. Knights up by 2. Let's go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. Bellarmine wins 98-84. Rusty Troutman, like I said, he wasn't rusty. A big monster game. He finished with 34 points, 8 rebounds in the win.
Let's stay on the scoreboard now. The number 1 ranked U Pike Bears go to Warner and knock off the Royals 73-66 behind KK Simmons' 18 points. And the U Pike women ranked 23rd in the country stay perfect 77-44 in the first day of the Comfort and Holiday Tournament. Devin Conley led U Pike to the win with 33 points.
Now to the high school game. Tara Muntz and the defending 47th district champs going for their 4th straight win over Somerset. First quarter, one of the best scorers in the 12th region, Peyton Ingram. Pulaski up 6-2 early. Coach Muntz, she doesn't have the biggest team, but she does have Brooklyn Snow. This girl's a fighter, a hustler, a rebounder, and everything else you want in a basketball player. Offensive board in the putback later. She does it again. 3-ball, no good. Somebody might want to box her out.
Cleaning up.
For real. She had 15 in the game. She only had a combined total of 5 points in all 3 of Pulaski's wins over Somerset a year ago. Pulaski up by 10. Just 2 seniors on the entire Somerset team. One of those, Topanga Brown. 2 of her team high is 16. Still down 11 though. Right before the end of the first quarter, Lexi McDonald had a 3-ball on her farm. 20-6 Pulaski County at the end of 1. Second quarter, it's Ingram from downtown. Later, Ingram. She got a lot of skill. Game high 24 for Peyton. Lady Maroons now up 30-7. The rest of the half was the Kyra Eads layup clinic. Layup number 1. Here comes layup number 2. And how about layup number 3? But actually, this one takes a little bit because she gets the offensive board and then she goes down. By the way, I love the purple hair.
That's impressive.
It's kind of the thing these days, you know?
I didn't know.
Brooklyn Massengill at Harlan, she's got that thing going on.
Oh.
Yeah. Eads goes for 11. Emily Vaught knocks down a 3-ball from the corner right there, but go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. Pulaski County with no trouble. The 7th-ranked Lady Maroons get their 10th win of the season, 66-43. And it was a sweep today, by the way, inside PCH Stadium, Stadium.
I'm playing football.
Gymnasium. The Pulaski boys also get the win over Somerset 70-53. Hey, this guy's played in the stadium.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Riley
Nice
Hall.
recovery.
21 points for the quarterback / point guard / guard on the court. The Maroons are 9-4 on the season.
Head coach Jeff Davis and the South Laurel Cardinals welcoming in Knox Central for some Saturday basketball. Cardinals are pushing it up the court quickly here. Andrew Griffith finishes and 1. Kind of a weekend one, but whatever.
Yeah.
South up 8. Now, Cards had this on repeat. Caleb Taylor up quickly to Griffith. The finish, he had 15 on the night. South was pretty much having their way on offense. Going around the horn here, Jared Grubb, the receiver, 3-ball corner pocket. Game high 17. Cards up 12 in the first quarter. U-Pike top play contender here. Let's check out Caleb Taylor on defense.
I like this play.
Oh, thank you for that ball. Now check out the hustle. Big guy getting up the court. Hey, give it to him. Thank you.
That's great.
Give him 10 for the day for Caleb Taylor. Knox Central finally getting something going on offense. Wade Lyford drives, finishes, but the deficit too much to overcome. Let's go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. South Laurel all over Knox Central, 77-40. That's some nice momentum for the 2nd-ranked team in the mountains as they head to the Mountain Classic this week.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's going to be exciting to see them. Of course, they're ranked 2nd in our Mountain Top 10. Clay County number 1, but they lost tonight to Boyle, so we'll see what happens. That could be the championship, by the way.
I'm excited just in general
Me
about
too.
the Mountain Classic.
Me
You
too.
guys are going to have to deal with a lot of the Mountain Classic stuff.
Yeah, no
Just
doubt.
deal with it.
All right. Coming up next, by the way, you made fun of my height. You have your heels off tonight, so I do feel a little bit taller.
Yeah.
Coming up next,
He's not 5'2", I promise. I'm closer to 5'2" than he is.
the Union men and women at Milligan will have highlights of those guys.
We actually already watched them, but we'll have
Oh,
more
yeah.
college basketball. Butler travels to Xavier, and West Virginia meets up with Kansas State.
I don't even know what's on
We'll
the show.
try again next break.
I don't know what's in the show. Really don't.
A top 10 matchup in Cincinnati going on. Number 9 Butler at number 6 Xavier.
Yeah, the 6th-ranked Musketeers coming off their first loss of the season. That was to number 16 Villanova on Thursday.
That was a spanking.
Yeah. Let's go to the highlights. That game was at Nova. This game at home where they are perfect. First half, Xavier up 7. Miles Davis at the buzzer. Look at the flick of the wrist. Whoop. 10-point lead for the Musketeers at halftime recess. Second half, Kellen Dunnan from the exact same spot Davis hit the shot at the end of the half.
It's a magic spot.
Hashtag sweet spot, okay?
Magic spot.
Okay, but wait a minute. We got another sweet spot or magic spot or whatever else you want to call it. Davis finds another sweet spot right in your eye hole from deep. 11 for Davis. Xavier up 73-57. Under 4 minutes to go in the game. Jalen Reynolds, this is a man move. Get out my way. Rocks the rim. 13 points for Reynolds. Xavier improves to 8-0 at home this season. 88-69.
All right, Tennessee-Auburn jump late first half. Admiral Schofield balls up 2. We didn't get an establishing shot for this highlight. Second half, Tigers forcing the turnover, pushing it up the court to Kareem Canty. I'm just going to tell you now it's going to go in. Auburn opens up conference play with a win, 83-77 over the Vols.
It went in.
Magic.
Okay. Number 19, West Virginia at Kansas State. We have got a Chihuahua and some dude doing a handstand. What is this?
Everybody's got special talents, Jamie.
And this guy seems to be balancing a Chihuahua.
I really like the countries of the world. He likes Chihuahuas on his feet.
Like, is that really a talent? Like, really?
Everybody has talents, Jamie. Don't hate.
Second half, Wesley Owandu. He steals it. That guy misses it, but Owandu finishes it. Kansas State with a 6-point lead over number 19, West Virginia. Later, Daxter Miles Jr. Remember this guy? He said they were going to beat Kentucky. Well,
That's awkward.
That didn't happen.
Awkward.
All right,
That wasn't awkward.
No, that ties the game at 61. Under 3 minutes to go. Dean Wade. He doesn't worry about balancing Chihuahuas. He just knocks down Jays. Okay?
Okay.
All right, we're tied at 69 all. Javon Carter drives, misses. Kansas State rebounds, gets it to Owandu at the buzzer. No, we're going to overtime. Let's play some extra basketball.
Okay.
4.6 seconds left in the first overtime. We're tied again, 75 all. Devin Carter for the win. No. I say we go to double overtime. Let's play some more basketball.
I'm getting tired.
Well, let's go. Oh, get it. It's double OT. It's okay. Devin Williams, goggles. Tied game at 83. And then later, Tariq Phillip, buckets.
Goggles.
Jumper in the lane. 10 seconds to go in overtime. Number 2, Owandu with the rock.
No goggles.
He's stuffed. No dice.
No goggles.
No goggles. Jonathan Holton with the block. Oh, there's goggles. Okay, West Virginia wins 87-83. Let's get out of here. Jay-Sean Page scored a career-high 25, by the way.
Knowledge dropped.
Knowledge dropped. They didn't give us any highlights of Jay-Sean Page scored a bucket, but he had a career-high 25, the former Perry Central Commodore. Let's go.
On the Kentucky Ole Miss broadcast earlier tonight was a guy pretty familiar to Kentucky basketball fans and people right here in the mountains.
Yeah, former Paintsville Tiger and member of the Unforgettables, John Pelfrey, was on the call for the SEC Network as he made a return trip home to Rupp Arena.
There are few Kentucky basketball players statewide and in the mountains that are more beloved than Paintsville native John Pelfrey. As the 1987 Mr. Basketball winner and 3-time participant in the Sweet 16, Pelfrey etched his name in bluegrass lore long before he arrived at Kentucky. But add in his 5-year spin with the Wildcats, Rupp Arena holds a special place in his heart.
No, it's good. This is a special place for me. You know, I was a Kentucky fan here first in this building. I was a high school basketball fan. Was a state tournament. Had a chance to play 7 games here in high school. Had a chance to play 5 years here in college. Numerous trips as an assistant coach, even a couple times as a head coach. First time as a broadcaster.
A former head coach at Arkansas and South Alabama and assistant at Florida, Pelfrey is now trying his hand at broadcasting. And while the current gig is fun, he is not ruling out a return to the sideline.
You know, as of today, absolutely. I think it's. I feel more prepared than I ever have been. I certainly want to be a head coach again. We'll see what happens. This is good right now, and who knows? I never thought I'd be doing this. I may like this so much that I don't go back. Who knows? But yeah, as of today, it's still something I want to do. I want to try again.
Pelfrey is not able to visit Paintsville as often as he would like, but the former Tiger star still remembers where it all started more than 30 years ago.
Because Paintsville that's still home. You know, just like Kentucky is still home, and you know, my high school coach, Coach Ryan, is still coaching back there, and I got a lot of childhood friends that are those relationships are still important.
From the mountains to the rafters, from the bench to the broadcast booth, John Pelfrey will always have a place in Kentucky basketball.
Good stuff. Oh, whoa, jinx.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff from our boss.
Coming up, I was going to say the exact same thing. Coming up later on the show, our play of the week plus NBA highlights.
Yeah, wait until you see what Boogie did tonight, DeMarcus Cousins. But first, wait until you see how these Harlan Green Dragons do the whip. It's Brooklyn Massengill and Jordan Brock. I threw this in late. Check it out.
On Friday, the Associated Press announced this year's Mr. Football for the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, we should mention we almost didn't have this video, but now we do. Paintsville's Cash Daniel completes the trifecta as the Gatorade Player of the Year, Paul Horning Award winner, and what?
Kentucky's Mr. Football.
The quarterback slash linebacker had a heck of a season to remember with the Tigers. 158 tackles. He combined for 37 touchdowns. Paintsville made it to the state semifinal game before falling to the eventual Class A state champ, Pikeville. Cash says, of course, he's happy to win, but he's even happier that the rest of the state is giving Eastern Kentucky some recognition.
I'm just glad, that the Mountains are finally getting some exposure. For the past couple of years, people kind of look down upon us for our football ability as athletes. So, it's good to see that people are starting to notice players in Eastern Kentucky, not only myself, but, kids all the way around.
All right, you can see Cash Daniel in action next Saturday in the Army All-American Bowl down in Texas. He, along with two other players from the state, will be representing the West team. You can watch it on NBC. Game time set for 1 o'clock. Notable alumni from this game, former MVPs include Vince Young, Deshaun Jackson, Beanie Wells, and Ted Ginn Jr.
Tax Slayer Bowl, Georgia, Penn State. That's Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
He crashes the coin toss in style. I have nothing to say. Second quarter, game tied at 3. This is what happens when you let go of longtime head coach Mark Richt. The kids get to play. Wide receiver Terry Godwin throws a 44-yard touchdown pass to Malcolm, not in the middle, Mitchell. 10-3, Georgia. All right, later, more from the Dogs. Grayson Lambert, the actual quarterback, throws to Godwin, 17-yard touchdown. Now, Godwin probably said, hey, brother, can you give me some love now that I did your job? A 17-3 Georgia. Third quarter, same score, Sony Michelle. Get off me. 21-yard touchdown. Dogs are Tax Slayer Bowl champs. 24-17. They close out the season with 5 straight wins.
Bill Snyder and Brett Bielema on the sidelines for their respective teams in the Liberty Bowl. Early first quarter, we are scoreless. Winston Dimmel finds the hole right there, rushes into the end zone for the score, 7-0, K-State. We're still in the first quarter. Jared Cornelius on the end around, and he gets around on the wide receiver reverse, 13 yards on the score. Arkansas grabs the 14-10 lead. Second quarter, Alex Collins, straight up the middle. They're just chasing him. 13 yards out. Razorback lead extended to 21-10, and Arkansas puts up 45 in their win over K-State, 45-23 the final. Well, up next, it's rewind time.
That's right. Take a listen.
What a player! 7 points in a matter of 30 seconds.
A look back at some memorable moments of the WYMT Mountain Classic. Lauren Cash on deck with Sports Overtime Rewind. Welcome back. As I'm sure you all are aware, the Mountain Classic tips off Monday, I guess.
Words are hard for you right now. For this week's Sports Overtime Rewind, we brush up on your history through the 28 years of the Classic and some of the more memorable moments. Back in 1988, Clay County's Richie Farmer won the first ever Most Valuable Player award in the Mountain Classic. In 1989, his brother Russ scored a total of 119 points and earned himself the MVP honor. Clay County rattled off 7 straight Mountain Classic championships from 1988 to 1994 and won 8 of the first 9. The Tigers lead all teams with 9 Mountain Classic championships. The Hazard Bulldogs have made 24 appearances in the Mountain Classic and won it 4 times, the most recent being in 2013 with Collier Mobilini, Chris Hudson, Matt Thompson, and Josh Holland as seniors.
Tied at 52 with 14 seconds left in OT. Matt Thompson hits 1 free throw and hits the second, putting Hazard up by 2. And then Austin Neese got fouled. So Neese went to the line for a 1-and-1 and missed the first free throw, and became the last Perry Central player to touch the ball. Game over.
Perry Central has the third most appearances with 16, and they've won it 5 times, with 3 Commodores in the top 10 on the all-time scoring list. Brian Kilburn with 162 points at 7, Ben Bowling with 157 points at 8, and Braxton Beverly rounding out the top 10 with 154 career points in the Mountain Classic. Knott County Central's Cameron Justice is the all-time leading scorer in the Mountain Classic with 246 points. The Patriots have won 2 Classic championships, one in 2012 and the other in 2015. 2 current coaches in the 2016 Mountain Classic are on the all-time scoring list. Clay County head coach Robert Markham is 29th with 111 points, and Perry Central's Shannon Hoskins with 106 points, sitting at 33rd. Through the years of the Mountain Classic, there's been memorable moment.
Branham, what a player! 7 points in a matter of 30 seconds.
After memorable moment, after memorable moment. A history-rich tournament showcasing the best of the best in the mountains.
Ball game, the Mountain Classic.
It's not a Mountain Classic without the one and only Jim Frazier on some memorable call, am I right?
Yeah, he'll be on the calls next week. It should be a lot of fun. We got some good teams this year. That first round matchup that I'm looking forward to is Perry Central Lawrence County. That'll be fun. They played each other this past week. Perry Central lost by 8, I believe, or 7 or 8 points. So that should be a lot of fun. And like I said, I think we have a possibility of having our number 1, number 2 teams in the mountains playing the championship, Clay County and South Florida.
Yeah, I'm just really excited that there's 8 solid teams competing in it. All the first round matchups should be pretty decent. And then even on the girls' side, which starts on Monday, like I'm just excited. I don't even have words. I'm just like I have written. Obviously, we are so pumped for the Classic. We hope you are too. Like we just said, Monday is January 4th with the girls' tournament, and on Tuesday the 5th the boys' tournament starts, and that is all from Knott County Central High School. Yeah. Well, up next, we mix it up a little bit and go NBA.
Yeah, that's right. Plus, look ahead to the final week of the regular season in the National Football League and name this week's Play of the Week. Time for our Play of the Week. It's Kentucky Ole Miss. Off the Rebel turnover, Jamal Murray. He misses the layup, but Marcus Lee does not. Yeah, Lee there for the putback jam. Take another look. Marcus Lee, look at that. You like that?
Yeah.
All right, I have control of this. That's not Play of the Week, this is. Take a listen, Brandon Ingram.
With this group out on the floor.
Duke's Brandon Ingram. Just watch. He dunks over 2 dudes.
Yikes. But I'm not surprised you put a Duke play in here.
Yeah. Well, I said since this thing is not sponsored, this is how we're going to do it.
It's your world, Jamie. We're just living in it.
Exactly. I could just randomly throw anything in. Marcus Lee, question mark. Play of the week? I'm not sure.
It's up for debate.
Maybe.
In Jamie's world, it's always Duke.
All right. It's week 17 of the National Football League, which means it is the last week of the regular season.
Yes, still a lot at stake for teams, regardless if they're in the playoffs or not. A big matchup in the NFC North. The Minnesota Vikings are in Green Bay. A Vikings win would clinch the division title. The Packers have won it 4 years in a row, but they're coming off a loss to the Arizona Cardinals.
Listen, like I said, I think he's arguably one of the best backs in the league, and you have to give him his credit and respect where due. But at the same time, we're trying to stop him on Sunday, and we were trying to stop him then. We're trying to stop him now. So ultimately, the confidence and the respect needs to lie in our defense and what we're capable of doing. So we need to be able to follow up that performance with another big defensive performance, and especially now with the NFC North on the line and an opportunity to play a home playoff game. So this is as big as it gets, and it should be a fun atmosphere on Sunday night.
Lauren read my vote, so I'm going to read her vote.
Sorry.
One of Minnesota's losses came to the Packers at home this season. Since the league expanded to a 16-game schedule in 1978, the Pack haven't lost a regular season finale at home. Their 13-game win streak on the line Sunday. Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater doesn't want to suffer another loss, of course. Here's Teddy.
Yeah, it's definitely, a different team. Like I said, it's a group of guys who are focused and, a group of guys who don't want, the Seattle performance to happen again. It was an embarrassment, losing like that, especially at home. But, you learn from it and try not to let that happen again.
Now to the NBA. With a win tonight in Phoenix, the Sacramento Kings head coach George Karl would tie Phil Jackson for the 5th most career victories in NBA history.
Yeah, Boogie Cousins and the Kings taking on the Suns. Boogie. Now the Kings hoping to turn things around after a 3-game losing streak. Second quarter, Kings by 6. TJ Warren takes a shot. After the play is blown dead, Cousins blocks it away. George Karl is randomly called for a technical foul. No, Boogie's like, hey, bro, I got plenty of those. Give me some skin. It's all good, coach.
At least they're getting along.
Third quarter, this is where he is sensational. I mean, how does a big human like that do what he just did? 32 points for Cousins. Later, Rajon Rondo, he finds Marco Bellinelli 1, 2, and 3 the hard way. Yeah, these teams scored a lot of points. Had no trouble scoring the rock, actually. Kings win 142 to 119. Holy crap. Well, that'll do it for the edition of this edition of the Appalachian Wireless Sports Overtime Saturday night. Hope you had fun.
Yes, I had fun. We had fun struggling through it. We did not cough on air, which is a great thing. I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to rest up, be ready for the Mountain Classic, hydrate, all the good stuff.
You read absolutely nothing.
I did not. I ignored all that stuff.
Let me just say before we go, if she would have had heels on tonight, I would have got hit in the head because like the entire time she was going like this.
I had them on the tees and then we did stuff.
I'm going to be bruised. All right, see you Monday. I'll read what I wrote. See you Monday as the 29th Annual Mountain Basketball Classic tips off at 9 Central.
Good night.